Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrency News. Today we'll cover topics from the 5th of May till today, which is the 16th of May. Please like, comment and subscribe. Please look at the links below. Starting with the price, on the 5th of May, the price was around 9,000. It has gone up to 10k, then there was a big dump to 8k, and now we're back at 9.3. The futures premiums are still rather low and pathetic, so the yearly basis is around 2% to 3%, while my thought of an equilibrium is around 10%, so the futures premiums are rather low. The swap funding is also rather low, so it looks like the market is positioned short. So usually a good setup to be long against the whole market. In this post, I just talk about my video where I say that around 300 to 500 million of Bitcoin, 300 to 500 worth of $1 million worth of cash is waiting in the sidelines ready to pull a trigger on cash and carry arbitrage. They will buy spot, they will sell derivatives, and as a result, because the effect of the real cash spot buying is way higher than the effect of derivatives selling, they will push the price of Bitcoin up whenever there is a premium. Futures in backwardation. In this video I talk about the BitMEX overload. It's a good video, so it explains how BitMEX engine is different to other exchanges, what are the trade-offs, why the BitMEX insurance fund has almost been wiped out, like completely out of its 35,000 Bitcoin on the 12th of March. They were pretty close. Someone has bought 10,000 Ether options expiring in June with strike price at 240. So 10,000, that is $2 million worth of Ether. So whoever sold that to him, if the Ether goes to 240, he'll have to buy a lot of Ether to hedge. CME options, sky high rocketing. A lot of hidden orders in the order book. I've placed a small gamble, so I went long because everybody was short. Here Zusu talks about his $22 million long, which has made him around 700 Bitcoin, but he talks about it as if it was a YOLO long, but it was a hedged position most likely, so he has sold spot and bought futures on Deribit. Turkey is making it very hard for speculators to short Turkish lira, so a lot of banks are now restricting capital flows. There are no capital flows in Bitcoin. Polo Arodino is posting a lot about Leo, so it looks like he is invested, and if he still talks about Leo after Leo has collected its money, it means that Bitfinex people do own a lot of Leo as well, and they are interested in Leo going up. Imagine you're manipulating Bitcoin markets for a living. You push the price up and down. Can you think of a better time to push it up than the halving? You do your work, you take your risks, but then media goes bonkers about the Bitcoin pump and halving narrative while the printer goes brrr. This is a seesaw pattern on the tickers, Clark Moody Bitcoin tickers. It looks like there are no humans in the order book, and this pattern dates really back in time. So I believe this is the BitMEX market maker posting buys and sells. So he just stocks his inventory long and then unloads and goes short, and he repeats that. And when there is no liquidity, this is what he generates. That's who I think that is. So Bitcoin going up, here it has reached 10k, and the question, well, some of you ask, who is buying 10k Bitcoin when we have just touched 3k? So the funny fact is that nobody really needs to be buying. There's mandatory deleveraging of shorts, plus a lot of options sellers need to rebalance. So people who have had call options since the previous 10k a few months ago, whoever sold the options, they had to unload their hedge when the price went down, but as the price climbed back up, they have to rebuy Bitcoin to hedge their options which they have sold before the dump, and also they have new call options to hedge. So Even if we go to 20k and nobody, absolutely no human is buying, machines will have to buy a lot. This is a post by Paul Tudor Jones, who has pretty much removed the career risk from buying Bitcoin. In the past, when you suggested that the institution buys Bitcoin, it was a risk to your career. You could lose your job. But now Paul Tudor Jones, who is a big guy, says, the GMI caused me to revisit Bitcoin as an investable asset for the first time in 2.5 years. It falls into the category of a store of value, and it has added bonus of being semi-transactional in nature. And there is more to that. Open interest on options is absolutely skyrocketing on Deribit and on CME as well. Fees on Bitcoin going really high. Mempool had up to 50 megabytes worth of transactions waiting. Here I'm just satisfied because of the futures being at a discount, so it looks like market is still positioned short. Crypto arbitrage talking that because the premiums just keep diving into the negative territory for the futures, whoever opens cash and carry, he's instantly incentivized to close his cash and carry, so we're just waiting until more cash and carry jumps in. My independent review of the Bitcoin fees, so I have looked at the exchange fees. You can avoid paying 0.5% fee for each transaction on Coinbase Pro and Bitstamp. You can go to ftx.com, where the spot fee is just 0.02% rather than 0.5%. Or you can get paid for transactions on itbit, which is less liquid. You sacrifice the price of a fill, but you save a lot of money on fees. So it's a good way of saving money. Here skew.com says that Bybit has regained its open interest. It's around $300 million. It's not genuine. I think it's all fake. Implied volatility has jumped before the halving, and it has dumped just after the halving. So in my view, the implied volatility is still pretty low, especially for the long dated ones. BitMEX research talking about the Ethereum to zero, exceptionally complicated, incredibly ambitious, still probably worth a try, considerable potential rewards. Staking could restrict supply, drive up the price. Bobby Lee saying that the Chinese Communist Party has asked him to push the Bitcoin price down at some point a few years ago. Obviously, he had to explain to them that he has no such control. Again, more and more options. Binance has bought CoinMarketCap, and now they are shilling their own exchange as the best. GDP forecasts absolutely tanking from the previous predictions. Elon Musk talking about Bitcoin. Massive currency issuance by government central banks is making Bitcoin internet money look solid by comparison. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please look at the links below, which will save you money.